There's a photograph on the mantle in the front room. School portrait, professional, taken sometime in the 90s. I'm in a jacket and tie, standing in front of a bookshelf someone arranged for the occasion. I look composed, certain, like a man who has things in order. I walk past that photograph every day, and sometimes I stop and look at it the way you'd look at a stranger. I don't know who that man was performing for, but I know he was performing. I spent a very long time being the version of Eldon Whitaker that other people found easiest to deal with. The steady teacher, the reliable husband, the father with the practical advice, the neighbor who didn't complain. I built that person carefully over decades, and I maintained him the way you maintain an old house, constantly, quietly, always attending to the appearance before the foundation. The foundation, I think, needed more attention than I gave it. I'm not sure when the performance started. Somewhere in my 20s, probably. I was young and unsure, and teaching teenagers who needed to believe their teacher was not unsure, and so I put on certainty the way you put on a coat. It worked, so I kept wearing it. After enough years, the coat started to feel like skin, and I stopped remembering what was underneath. Maggie knew not everything. I kept a great deal from her that I shouldn't have, but she knew the coat from the man. She had a way of looking at me sometimes patient and slightly sad, like she was waiting for me to stop reciting and just talk. I rarely did. I'd answer whatever she asked, and the answers would be correct and complete, and she'd nod and go back to whatever she was doing, and something small would have been missed again. 6 years gone now, and I still have conversations with her in my head. I tell her things in those conversations that I never told her when she was here. It's a strange kind of grief, that. Not just missing someone, but finally being honest with them after it's too late to matter. I think about the classroom a lot these days. 38 years in that room, same subject, same town, different faces every year. I was good at it. I knew the material, and I knew how to hold a room, and the students generally respected me. But there was always a distance I kept. Professional, I told myself. Appropriate. A teacher maintains a certain boundary. What it actually was, I see this now, was safety. If nobody got too close, they couldn't see the uncertainty underneath. They couldn't see the days I walked in exhausted and hollow and running entirely on routine. They saw Mr. Whitaker, composed and reliable, and that's all I let them see. I retired at 67, and the identity went with the job. That surprised me more than it should have. I thought I was a person who happened to teach. It turned out I was a teacher who hadn't built enough of a person underneath. When the classroom was gone, there was less of me than I had expected. Maggie was patient with me in those first years of retirement. I was difficult in ways I didn't recognize, restless and purposeless and quietly ashamed of both. She gave me space and she gave me gentleness, and she never said out loud what I think she understood. which was that her husband of 40-something years was having to meet himself for the first time without a role to hide inside. We had some good years in there, quieter, slower. I think I was more present in retirement than I'd ever been. But even then the habit of performance was deep. I'd catch myself doing it, answering questions about how I was doing with the composed version rather than the true one, telling Claire the first was fine when I wasn't, telling Daniel things were good when they were complicated. Old habits don't break, they just get slightly thinner. Daniel is a lot like me. I see the coat on him when we talk. The Sunday calls, 11 minutes, everything handled, nothing uncertain. I built that in him, showed him every day of his childhood that this was what a man looked like. He learned it perfectly. Now we talk on the phone once a week and exchange information, and neither of us says anything that costs us anything. I'd like to tell him that the coat gets heavy, that there will come a time when he's sitting in a quiet house and he'll realize the person everyone knew wasn't entirely the person he was. I'd like to tell him that the real version, the uncertain, unfinished, still figuring it out version, is worth more than the composed one, worth more to the people who love you, worth more to himself. I haven't told him that yet. I keep meaning to find the right moment, which is what I've always done with the things that matter. There's a version of me that Maggie saw occasionally, usually late at night, when I was tired enough that the performance took too much effort. I'd just be quiet and present and not particularly composed, and she'd move closer on the couch and we'd sit together, and it was the most at home I ever felt in my own life. Not the man in the photograph, just a tired person beside another tired person at the end of a long day. I think that's what she wanted all along, not the jacket and tie, just the man underneath them, imperfect and present. I gave her glimpses. I should have given her everything. The photograph is still on the mantle. I've thought about taking it down. I leave it there because it's a reminder of something I don't want to stop seeing clearly, that the version of yourself you present to the world can become so practiced that you lose track of the other one, the real one, the one that needs things and doubts things and wants to be known. That one deserves to be lived in more than I let myself live in it. I don't have a tidy way to end this. I'm 84 and I'm still figuring out who I actually am underneath 40 years of being who I thought I was supposed to be. Maybe that's just what a life is, a long, slow removal of the coat. I just wish I'd started earlier.